Hello everybody and welcome to the first Meatless Monday cook-off. So I'm just going to wait and let people get on to it. We'll see who pops on. I think Bart's on. Oh, Jesse's on. Hi Jesse, how you doing? So exciting. We'll give it a couple of minutes. We'll give it until 6:04 and then we'll start some cooking. If you do want to get something started, then I recommend if you're going to do fries with us, which we're doing, like potato chips, then I recommend preheating your oven to fan forced at 180. Okay, there's someone else popping on. We'll see who else shows up. Jesse, is Luca excited for the burgers tonight? What about Keely? Does Keely even know? Hi, Melissa. So exciting that you're here. Are you going to be cooking tonight, Melissa? Or are you just watching along? Okay, we'll wait 2 more minutes and see if people pop on, and if not, we'll start cooking. But Melissa, if you are cooking, I did say if you're making the fries with us, then preheat your oven on fan bake to 220. Oh, sorry, 180. Oh, you're here for the show. Wow, there you go, Beyond Meat. Next time you can make these ones. They're delicious. I wonder how. I can't see actually who's joined, so I don't know if there's anyone else. But if you join, say hello so I know who's here. And we're going to start cooking in 1 minute. Oh, Lily. Hi, Lily. How you doing? Are you cooking tonight or are you just watching it for the show? And Kim, I see you, Kim, or Bart. I assume Bart's cooking tonight. Okay, let's start cooking. So, the first thing that, let me just move this up a little bit. Okay, so for the first thing we're going to do tonight is we're going to chop up our potatoes for our potato chips. If you are not doing, oh, there we go. Okay, see, you've got to wait a couple minutes and people come. Hey Caleb, how you doing? So, I'm sorry if I spoke that you're like that. We are going to chop up our potatoes. If you're not doing potatoes tonight, then don't worry about it. We'll just do this really quickly. So I'm going to make ours into little chips. So we just chop them into half, put the half down on the board, and just chop away so they look like this. Then I'm just going to put them on the board My potatoes have already been washed. If you haven't washed your potatoes, then I would recommend doing that first, seeing that we have a global pandemic going on right now. And then I'm just putting them directly onto the tray. And I'm also going to do one kumara, because who doesn't love kumara fries? Now kumara is a little bit more dense, so when we are chopping it, you want to make the chips just that little bit smaller so they cook at the same time as your potatoes. So I'm having one of these and I'm just chopping it down the middle. I like to keep the skin on my potatoes when I cook them, or my kumara, because that's where a lot of the fibre is, and that means that it's slower absorption into your gut and into your bloodstream, so that your blood sugars don't spike, and also fibre is really good for your gut. So then what we're going to do is we're just going to drizzle. Can everybody see? Is that okay? We're just going to drizzle it with some olive oil. You could also use avocado oil, grapeseed oil, whatever you please. I'm then going to crack some salt over it. And then I've got some basil and some rosemary here. You can also, if you want to, put on a bit of Cajun or Moroccan or any kind of seasonings that you enjoy, really. I'm just going to put a good teaspoon of each. I'm actually going to get some Cajun now that I've thought about that. Because who doesn't love some Cajun on their fries? Cool. And then I'm just going to get my hands in there. I washed them before the show. And I'm just going to really get them all dressed up. And this is kind of where I spot any large fries or any ones that might take extra to cook or say are stuck together. And I make sure that they're all spread out. And then wash our hands. And we place them in the oven. And they'll be ready for when we're finished. You want to place them in about the middle of the oven. That's where the heat's the hottest and there's enough temperature to go with the fan going around. Once we have that, the next step is cooking your lentils. So if you have canned lentils tonight, that's totally okay. What I want you to do now is open the can and then put them into your sieve and really give them a really good rinse to get off any residue that's on lentils. If you're cooking the lentils with me, then one same, get your sieve. You want to get your 1 cup. So I'm going to use a mixture of lentils tonight just because I don't have many left. So you have your 1 cup of lentils. You're going to put them into here and then you're going to go over to the sink and rinse them out and give them a really good massage. So I do this as the water's running through them. Once they're really nice and rinsed, I'm going to put them in the pot. And then I'm going to fill the pot up with cold water. And the water is going to go to about 3/4 of the pot. And then you're going to put them on a really high heat. So if you can see, that's how much water I have in there. then I'm going to put a lid on, and then once it's boiling, I'm going to take the lid off, and that's just to get the water hotter faster. Now, if you're using the canned lentils, your next step is to then get some paper towel, and I want you to put a board out with your paper towel on them, and put the lentils onto the paper towel and spread them out, and that's just going to get any excess liquid off the lentils so that they don't have extra liquid into the burger patty mix, and then it gets really wet and mushy. Cool. Is everybody up to there? I'll give you a couple of seconds to get caught up. Cool. Your next step is your oat flour, and I got a lot of questions on if we can use other types of flours. You totally can. I just like the oat flour because it gives it kind of a grain and the consistency of it, but you can use a whole wheat flour or a white flour. You're just going to use a little bit of less. So before this, I put in half a cup of oats, whole oats, into here, and I'm just going to really quickly whiz them in the NutriBullet. So that's the next step. And that's oat flour. Really simple. So then the next step is we're going to fry up our onions and our mushroom and our garlic, and that gets them really soft and gets the liquid out of the mushrooms so that it, they become quite congealing in the burger patty mix. It's kind of what holds everything together. So I've got my mushrooms. And for everybody asking what creamy mushrooms are, they're little tiny white butter mushrooms. So I'm actually going to edit the recipe and just say any mushroom works. So today I actually have portobello mushrooms because I thought that I had white buttons in the fridge, and I definitely didn't, and it was too late to go and get white button mushrooms. So we're here. Because all of this is going to end up going in the food processor, it doesn't actually matter how you cut them. They can be as rough or as nice as you like. It's not a fashion show when everything ends up in the food processor. And this also means that this recipe can be a lot faster, which is kind of what we want when it's 6 o'clock and everyone's come home from work. Cool, so we have that there, and then I'm just going to get, this chopping board is the board that we use for our onions and our garlics, just because they're quite strong. You don't want to be chopping them on a nice wooden board, as the smell gets kind of stuck into the wood. Once again, if you hate chopping onions, that's totally okay. They're going to end up in the food processor, so you do not have to worry about what it looks like or if it's finely diced or anything silly like that. We're all about quick and easy on Meatless Mondays. Cool. So once again, I'm just going to cut the onion in half and then just really roughly dice it. And then I'm going to twist my onion once again and really roughly dice it. Super quick and easy. You're going to put quite a large pan because we're going to reuse this pan when it comes to cooking the patties. So don't start small and then have to use another pan. Just start with the big pan. A little bit of olive oil. I'm going to let that pan heat up a little bit first. Probably should have done that first, but it's okay. While that's heating up, I'm going to get my garlic. So the recipe calls for 2 cloves of garlics, but if you're a garlic lover or if you don't like garlic, you don't have to put it in. If you don't have access to raw, fresh garlic, then you can always use garlic powder. I would just use 1 teaspoon. So whatever floats your boat, really. There's always options. That's the beauty of cooking. Once you learn how to cook a little bit more and some things that you can swap out and substitute, cooking becomes a really easy, fun task rather than something that's really, really daunting. There's so many options in the world. Cool. So I've got my 2 cloves of garlic here. I've just taken the skin off them. And then what you want to do is you want to get your knife and put it flat, and then put the flat part on top of your garlic, and then use the palm of your hand, this part here, and push on the garlic. And you'll see that it flattens it. Whoop, we're losing garlic. And then once again, same, just really finely dice it. Messily dice it, I should say, not finely. And if there's any pesky skin left over after mashing it, it will come off really simply once you've mashed it. If anyone has any questions or any queries, just let me know. I'm going to add the garlic and the onion to the pan, super quick and simple. And then I've got my spatula here, as I call it with my clients. And we just give it a quick stir around. Let it sizzle. It's going to become brown. We're going to want it to get sizzle away and get nice and brown and caramelized. Let the juices come out of the vegetables. How is everyone doing so far? Does anyone have any questions? Also, if you guys saw my stories from the other day, you would have seen that I'm talking about compost. If you guys are wanting to start your compost or anything like that, please, please, please make sure that you don't put your onion skins, your garlic skins, or any citrus fruits into the compost, because it actually burns the worms and all the little bugs in there. It kills them, and you want all those little bugs and stuff in the compost, because that's what actually means that the soil's alive and there's lots of nutrients in the soil then. But I can thank you for that knowledge. Is this everybody's first Meatless Monday, or are they doing it before, or do you plan on joining in every week? So the onions here are getting nice and brown. Not brown, I should say, they're just getting nice and warm. Now this dish actually was one of the first veggie dishes I started to make and share with friends, and in all honesty I took it over to Jake's parents' house, and but Jake's father actually thought that it was meat in his dinner that night, because these ones taste so like dense and rich and just really meaty, to be completely honest. So if you're trying to convince people in your house, or you are slowly trying to transition to introduce more variety into your diet, then this is a really awesome option. Melissa, I honestly thought it was Monday and had meatless anyways. Might have to try and make these for next Monday. Yeah, that's such a good idea. We're actually going to do this Meatless Monday every week, so at the end of this once we finish cooking, I'll announce what we're going to be making next week, and it's going to be a continuous every Monday thing, which I'm really excited about. And then slowly, hopefully more people come and join in on Meatless Monday, because it's something that's really fun and it can become a challenge in the house. And every time you cook something, I would love for you to tag me in it with the hashtag of #BalanceMe, and then I will be able to share you on my page, and then I'm going to do a monthly draw for a prize. So it's going to be really exciting. There's lots of awesome things happening in the realm of Balance Me. It's just developing right now with COVID and what we can do, and figuring out kind of the next steps really. So it gives it a nice This is also a really awesome recipe that you could make at the start of the week, and they can be in your fridge, and you can put them on top of bento bowls, you can put them in salads, you can put them in burgers and wraps, anything that you like. These go really well in. Another great option is if you wanted to double just the burger recipe, and then you can put them into patty sizes on oven trays and put them in your freezer, and then instead of having to spend $7 at the grocery store buying meatless Monday burger patties, you can have these patties to pull out straight away, which is also a really good option. So these onions are having a good time right now, so I'm going to add in the mushrooms and the seasonings. So the seasonings for that need to go into this pan is the 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of basil, and 1 teaspoon of thyme. You're more than welcome to use fresh herbs from your garden if you have access to that, but please don't go out and just buy fresh herbs for this, because dried do work really well. Cool, so you have your 1 teaspoon of each. Now my lentils are boiling now, so I'm going to take the lid off, just so that all the water doesn't evaporate, because once you have the lid on, it's going to be really hot and the water will evaporate really quickly, and then you're going to have undercooked lentils. Lentils for this recipe, we're going to cook them for 15 minutes. I forgot to set a timer, so they're probably going to be, they've already been on for 5, so we're going to do it for another 10. But we're always going to check the lentils to make sure that they're at the right cookedness for this recipe. So this recipe we want to cook the lentils al dente, and that is just so that they hold stature when we mix them up and put them into the burger patties. If we overcook them, say for example if we're using a can, they're really cooked lentils, and then a lot of the time they go into mush once we've put them in the food processor for the burger. So this is something that cooking lentils and cooking legumes people kind of struggle with. They don't know how to do it yet, and that is something that I really want to teach people how to do, because it's so simple and it's so much cheaper than buying the canned options. It's more environmentally friendly, and it has way less sulfates or sodium in the canned food. So cans are great options, and don't get me wrong, I use them all the time. They're really quick, easy, on-hand things. But if we can learn how to cook lentils and learn how to cook chickpeas, that can save our pocket and also save the environment. So it's a win-win, and save our guts, so that's really great too. Cool, these mushrooms and onions are going really well. Ask, and it's something that they always struggle with, is how do I stop my onions from burning and my garlic from burning. So I actually learned this when we were living in Japan with a French chef. You put a little bit of water into your pan, and that just lets it all simmer away, and the juices and the mushrooms and the onions actually absorb all the flavour from the basil and the oregano and the thyme. So if you are having trouble with your pan, if it's non-stick, anything like that, just put a drizzle of oil, of water in there. So I will show you here. So it's honestly like less than quarter of a cup, essentially. And you just put that in there, and it's pretty much already evaporated. So if you're having trouble more, then just add a little bit more. And you can do this throughout the cooking process until your onions and your mushrooms are nice and juicy. Never ever add any of the next ingredients until all of that water is absorbed though. So, if you have a food processor for this recipe, that is great. You can also use a NutriBullet, or if you don't have either of those, you can get out the handy dandy potato masher, but it might be kind of difficult. So I hope you have a food processor or you have a NutriBullet. What we're going to do is we're going to put the walnuts in here, half a cup of walnuts. If you are using a masher, you're going to have to dice all your walnuts up really finely. So I've got my half cup here. Hello. And so the great thing about this recipe is that you can use the cheaper walnuts. You can use the like broken walnuts. And then we're going to put the sauteed vegetables, the walnuts and the lentils in here. Cool. So in the pan you can kind of see an instance differently, a difference instantly, because the mushrooms are starting to go nice and brown, same with the onions, but see how there's still quite a bit of liquid left? Can you guys see? Yeah, so we're going to try and get rid of that. So we're just going to cook that off, and then once that's cooked off, we can put that all into the food processor. If you're cooking your lentils with me, then check them now. So mine's still quite hard. I can definitely take the skin off. Can you guys see how it popped out? And I can kind of break it up with my, I need two hands, hold on, 1 second. So I can break it up with my fingers, kind of, you guys, yeah. And then, so it's nearly ready, but it's just not quite ready yet. Does anybody have any questions, any plant-based questions, or any, like what can you swap for swaps, or any questions about my services, or anything else that you would like to know? What are some vegan myths that you've heard? Oh, Petey, hello. Yeah, so I'll try and show both of you. You can see now that the lentils, I can I can break them. Lentils are going flying. Okay, well the first lentil I could break. Luke is watching. I swear my whole family show up to this. It's like a family affair. Luke, Laura, who else? Huh? Amazing. So Can everybody see? So there's no liquid left, it's just the residue of the mushrooms and the onions. So that's nice and cooked. So we're going to put that into the food processor and we're going to put all of this in here. If you're using your NutriBullet, then put your walnuts and your mushroom and onion and garlic mix into your NutriBullet now and blend it up and put it into a bowl. Make sure you turn off your hob that you had that pan in. So that's what your food processor or your NutriBullet should look like. Nice and delicious. Sorry, I'm just gonna put my phone on silent. Cool. And we're just waiting for the lentils to soften up so that we can put them into the thing. So we can put them into the recipe. Okay, so once your lentils are cooked, hopefully they're cooked by now, mine are cooked, so they should be ready to go. Get your sieve in one hand and your pot in the other hand and head over to the sink. And give them a really, really good shake. You can see me shaking away here. And then into your food processor, you're going to put 3/4 of a cup of your lentils. So now I have a couple lentils left in here, and I have my lentils in here. And then, so if you're using a NutriBullet, if you're using a food processor, that's what you do. You're going to put your onions, your garlic, your walnuts, and 3/4 of your lentils into your food processor. If you're using a NutriBullet, then you should have already blended your mushrooms and your onions and your walnuts. Put that into a bowl. And then now I want you to put 3/4 of your lentils into your NutriBullet. If you're using a big cup like this, you should be able to do it all at once. If you are using a little cup like this one here, then I would do it in like half batches. So I would do 2 rounds. You want to make sure the lentils are broken up quite nicely, because you're going to remember that these whole lentils are going to make the texture of your burger, and you want the other lentils to be broken up to make a paste. So I apologize for the sound that's about to happen. I really hope it's not too loud on your end. Everyone turn their phones down. You ready? So, oh, that smells amazing. This is what the mixture looks like now. If I get my spatula, I can wring down the sides. And if there's still quite a lot of like full lentils in there, then just wring down the sides and put it back on the food processor and give it one more good go. So, once again, turn your sound down. Apologies, everybody. Perfect. And so here you'll see that we have quite a nice paste. What we're going to do now, if you're using a NutriBullet, put your like mashed lentils into your bowl with your mushrooms and with your onions If you have a food processor, take the inside of your, like the blade of your food processor out, and then you've just got your bowl. If you're using your masher, I apologize, I forgot to talk to you people, make sure that your 3/4 of your lentils is like really mushed up, and your cooked onions and mushrooms, just chop the crap out of it, really. Woo. Give it a really good mash. It's going to be your workout for the day. So now that we have this really delicious paste, we're going to add in the rest of the ingredients. So you have your 2 tablespoons of your tamari. I just use this one here. If you can, always make sure it's either organic or GMO free. So tamari is essentially just soy sauce, but it's got less salt in it and less gluten, so it's awesome for celiacs. Make sure if you're a celiac though that it's actually marked as gluten free. But if you just have soy sauce, that's absolutely fine. So I've got 2 tablespoons, so I'm going to do 4 of these because this is only a half. Okay, and then we have 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. So I just have this big tomato paste here. Now if you're cooking this for children, I do recommend putting in a little bit extra tomato paste just to give it that tomatoey taste that kids love. Or you can put in less, whatever works, whatever floats your boat. And then we need miso paste. So miso paste is awesome. It gives it that really umami flavor. It just gives it so much diversity that we don't normally taste in our New Zealand palates. So the thing with miso paste is it's fermented soybeans. It's really, really good for you, but always make sure that you buy miso paste that is in the fridge. If you buy miso paste that's sitting on a shelf, it means that it has lots of preservatives in it to kill all the enzymes from growing. So you're actually not getting any fermented goodness from miso paste that's sitting on the shelf. So Urban Happy do, I think, like the best miso in New Zealand, to be completely honest. You can buy them online, or most health food store has it. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, I'm just letting you know the good stuff. We have 1 tablespoon of miso paste, so I'm just gonna put that in there, and then we're gonna mix that all up. So because the miso paste and the tomato paste is very kind of thick, you want to make sure that you really give it a good mix to, so you don't have any red bits or brown bits. You want all one colour. Let the flavours disperse through the food. Cool. Then once you have all that, I hope everyone's got it sorted, we're going to add the rest of the lentils. So pour those in, give it a good stir, and so here you'll see that some lentils don't actually combine into the mixture. So get it nice and going. And so see how the mixture is still quite wet, like it doesn't stick together. Oh, sorry. It's still quite wet and gloopy. This is where we use our flour. So if you're using oat flour with me, then you could probably just dump it all in there. But if you're using another type of flour, I recommend starting with a 1/4 cup. So I'm just gonna blend this one more time. Oh no, though. Okay, NutriBullet problems, apologies. So I'm just gonna put in half this of my quite oaty oat flour, and we're just gonna mix it up until you start to see that the mixture actually binds together. Oh, it smells so good. So if you're using a normal flour, I would think that you would only need about a quarter cup. If you're using this oat flour with me or any type of grainy flour, you're going to want the whole half a cup. Do you see, is your flour working? Amazing. So we're going to just quickly check our potatoes. If you've got your potatoes in the oven, get them out. Yum. And give them quite a good shake off. Cool, and then we'll put them back in the oven. So now that we've done that, let's heat up our, is everybody's things coming together? Oh cool, Jessie's, yours is working. Alright, awesome. So, we're going to go to right rear. We're going to put a little bit of olive oil in there. Now, this is where making your burger patties will be a make or a break. So, in the recipe it says to use a quarter of a cup, and it gives you about 8 to 12 burger patties. Now, if you're doing that, then you want to make sure that you're having buns that are that little bit smaller. Tonight we have our buns from just good old New World Sesame Toasted. So for these size buns, can I do my hand for comparison? You use about half a cup of mixture, and that is what gets you the perfect for this size. So, I've got a bit of olive oil in my pan. This is the exact same pan that I cooked the mushrooms, onions in. Haven't cooked it, it's absolutely fine. I haven't cleaned it, absolutely fine. So, get your mixture, and you kind of want to do it like you're baking with flour, and you want to level it off. So, that just makes sure that everything's kind of packed in there. And then when you go to drop it into the pan, then you actually have a burger patty that's stuck together. If you kind of just chuck mixture into the pan, it's not going to work. So my pan will be hot, so all I do, I'll bring this closer, so can everyone see? And all I do now is I just go, and you have a burger patty. Can everybody see? And then I get the back of my half a cup, and I just pat it out. Can everybody see? Perfect burger patty. You would never know you made it yourself. And then we're just going to repeat that process. Using half a cup of mixture, you get about 6 burgers. Is that working for everybody? Oh no. Amazing. So I've got 4 cooking, and I'll cook the other 4 later. If you wanted to cook all of yours now, then you're more than welcome to get out another pan and cook them in another pan, or you can just wait until after, like I am. So I'm just going to do a quick clear up. So while those are cooking, we're going to get the final ingredients together for our burgers. I'm going to go back to my good chopping board. burgers, we're going to have good old spinach. We're going to have some rocket because I love rocket. We're going to have some red onion, some carrot, a little bit of cabbage. If you want cabbage, that's fine. If you don't want cabbage. And our burger buns, obviously. If you have tomatoes in the garden, they are absolutely beautiful with this recipe. But I pulled out my tomato plant, which is really sad. So I'm just going to cut the tomatoes. Sorry. I'm going to cut the onions just through here. And then if you have the core like I do, oh, no one saw that. Okay, if you have the core here, so see here how I have the core still in my onion, I just do a nice little chop across, get rid of that onion. And then you have onion halves. So these lentil burger patties, they cook for 4 minutes on each side, but you can always change it up. Sorry, you can always change it up. You can always check them before if you think that they are getting cooked. Kim, if you want to bring me a tomato, I would appreciate it. Our next door neighbours are watching and they're in our bubbles, and they happen to be Jake's parents. And she has a very good tomato plant, and I would love one of those tomatoes in my burger. Hint, hint, wink, wink. You'll probably hear the front door open in a couple seconds. So for your cabbage, a lot of people don't like cabbage purely because it's normally cut so big, it's really hard to eat. But get your, so I have this here as you can see, and get your knife with it and slightly shred it. Can everybody see this? The door just opened. I wonder who it is. So this, and then it's really fine cabbage, so it's really nice to put into your burger. Oh, it's Caleb! Hello? Wait, hold on, no, come closer. Tomatoes! Voila, it's a magic trick. It's so funny. Okay. And if people get upset about my people coming into my bubble, it's our next door neighbours, and they have been part of our bubble from the beginning, and it's Jake's parents, so it's okay. Okay. Burger patty flipping. So get nice and under there. So as you can see, you still have 4 really awesome burgers. If, for instance, your burger, you flipped it and you were a bit aggressive and it kind of falls apart, use your spatula to like tuck it all in again, and it kind of sucks up again. You can definitely do that. So we have cabbage, we have the tomatoes. So just take your stalks out of your tomatoes if you can. Get your tomato knife. Cool. If you wanted to take the core out of your tomatoes, you just get your knife and then they kind of look at it. And you just kind of pour around it. And it pops out. Your burger buns, if you want them grilled, we're going to have ours grilled tonight. Chop them in half. Just put them in the top of your oven, faces up. And it's okay if you have sesame seeds and they drop, because the tray with the chips on them will catch all the sesame seeds. Finish chopping up your ingredients. Cool. And then we can start making our burgers. So I have my plate. I'm gonna get one of the burger buns out. Now, in our burger buns, we love sweet chili relish. This is so good. It's honestly the tits. So, we're going to put a bit of that on there. I'm going to have rocket in mine. A little bit of spinach. Then you want to go cabbage. If you're having cabbage, whatever veggie you want, really. Burgers are meant to be individual. A little bit of capsicum. A little bit of onion. A little bit of tomato. Get your burger patty. Slide that banger on top. Get your bun lid. And bada bing bada boom, you've got a burger that has no meat in it. Who would have thought? Another awesome thing, that if you have nutritional yeast in your house, so nutritional yeast is like this. It's kind of a spunky thing. It smells really cheesy to me, but a lot of other people think it smells like yeast. I love to sprinkle this on top of my burger patty, and it just gives it a really cheesy flavour. It just tops it all off. Yum! I'll get some fries. Hold on. And there you have it. Meatless Monday. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I'll stay on for a couple more minutes to see if anybody has any questions about the construction, or any questions about nutritional yeast or lentils, or if their burgers didn't work, and let me know and we can figure that out. If there's anything else you would like to know, please let me know. Give me a question. Feel free to message me on Facebook or Instagram, or check out my website at www.balancemenz.com For next week's Meatless Monday, we will be cooking falafel with Israeli couscous and beetroot and carrot salad. I'll put a poll up to see what time we want to be doing that, whether it's 5:30 or 6 o'clock, because I do understand that 6 o'clock is too late for some families, especially with young children. So I think we might alternate it each week, just depending on the feedback that we get. But yeah, I hope you guys really enjoy that. The recipe will be live on the blog in 5 minutes. It will also be going on to Facebook and Instagram. So if you want to get involved in next week, it's definitely a favorite in our house. And also the falafel with Israeli couscous and beetroot and carrot salad is also going to be part of one of the meals that is provided in my individual meal prepping. So that is coming soon, and I'm really excited to bring that to you. And I hope you guys have really enjoyed this. This is going to be an annual thing. Not an annual thing. This is going to be a weekly thing. So thank you so much for coming and supporting Balance Me on their journey to inspire and educate and to bring people meatless meals into their life with a little bit more variety and diversity. Thank you so much, guys. I'll stay on for a couple more minutes to see if anybody has any questions. Whoop. Do you guys want to come make your burgers?
Sure.
Yeah. Yay! The flatmates love it because they get food every Monday. Cool. Yeah, Melissa, falafel next Monday. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you pop in and cook with us rather than having your Beyond Meat. Learn to make some things yourself. Jessie, thanks so much for popping in. It's so cool to have your support, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what Keely thinks, because I think that's going to be really funny. And Kimmy, thank you so much for your support and always having a helping hand when I need it. Have a good night, guys.